My name is Natalie Smith, and I will be presenting on the resilience demonstrated by children of divorce. My presentation will follow this outline displayed in the table of contents. First, I will discuss the context of the issue and then connect it to the stimulus material. Then I will state my research question and claim, followed by the possible solutions and then the best solution. Then I will list out the implications and limitations and end with concluding remarks. First, I have the context of the issue. According to the State Statistic Institute, 50% of couples in the United States stay married while 50% get a divorce. This proves to be an important issue as it negatively impacts a large percentage of children in our country, calling for a need for a plan of action. Further diving into the topic of divorce, bachelor degree and PhD recipients Sine Setakaya and Amin Ersin, who are professionals in the psychological study of children, found that the stages of grief through divorce are similar to the stages of grief through death, being that they are denial, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Relating back to children of divorce, in denial, the child refuses to believe their parents have separated. Then in bargaining, the child tries to fix their behavior in order to convince their parents to remarry. Following those are the depression and acceptance stages, in which the child grieves the loss from divorce and may blame themselves for the situation, and then they accept the divorce and move on through later life. Setakaya and Ersin also found that divorce leads to harmful effects in later life for children, including difficulty forming romantic relationships, starting a family, and mental health issues. According to Michelle Bryant, a psychological author at the University of Texas at Austin, children of divorce have, quote, much less ability to trust and little idea of what a lasting marriage looks like, which is extremely alarming. Now moving on to my connection to the stimulus material. I chose the article, in their own words, Resilience Among Haitian Survivors of the 2010 Earthquake, which was written by Gautier Verheul and other authors of professional behavioral studies. Within this article, the authors discussed that the earthquake had an alarming magnitude of 7.0 and hit January 12, 2010. The article also outlined that survivors bounce back through resilience and adaptability skills, which will relate back to children of divorce later in my PowerPoint. The second article that I chose was The Dark Side of Resilience, which was written by Thomas Chamar-Pramusic and Derek Lusk, PhD. Through their article, the authors defined resilience as the psychological capacity to adapt to stressful circumstances and to bounce back from adverse events. This relates back to my presentation as it defines resilience as a whole. Through this research process, I found a question and claim. My question being, what are the best ways in which society can help children better adapt to the hardships that accompany divorce? This led me to my claim that although some believe that children have difficulty recovering after parental divorce, they prove to be resilient through the adaptation of optimistic behaviors and a strong support system. This claim led me to my possible solutions, the first being the adaptation of optimistic behaviors for children of divorce. Relating back to the stimulus packet, the article, in their own words, Resilience Among Haitian Survivors of the 2010 Earthquake, the authors listed positive behaviors of the Haitian survivors, including open-mindedness, discipline, low tolerance for unacceptable behavior, and hope. This helps the Haitian earthquake survivors become stronger in the end after the earthquake. Further supporting this, Hal Arkowitz, a psychology professor and PhD holder at the University of Arizona, found that the characteristics of an easygoing temperament, good problem solvers, and those who are not shy to be reliant on others help children through the divorce process. And finally, in Sarah Marie Hopp's article, which was published in the well-known and respected Dartmouth Undergraduate Journal of Science, she found that intelligence, competence, self-confidence, and a good sense of humor also help children through the process of divorce, all relating back to the trait of resilience. Her article also found that 75 to 80% of children who adapted these behaviors that had divorced parents become well-adjusted later in adulthood. My second solution that I found would be implementing a strong support system into the child's life. According to the Clinical Child and Family Psychology Review, the absence of a support system for children post-divorce leads to the negative effects of difficulty forming relationships later in life and mental health problems directly. However, through supporting parenting strategies of proactive cooperation, constructive communication, and a shared commitment, the child can flourish later in life. Further supporting this is Sabrina Broadbent, an English advisor and novelist who underwent the process of divorce herself and became a single mother. She found that through her character traits and supporting parenting strategies of closeness, listening, availability, and support, her own teenage children were able to overcome the hardships associated with divorce. Finally, the best solution that I found through my research process was the combination of both teaching children optimistic behaviors and providing a strong support system in their life. Supporting this solution is Amy Morin, a psychotherapist and clinical social worker. In her article, she found that by empowering children, making them feel safe, and teaching them valuable coping skills, they were able to overcome divorce. However, my solution does have a few implications and limitations. The implications that I found all were positive, as this will lead to lower divorce rates in the future as children will learn positive marriage character traits. Furthermore, it will lead to healthier families as the divorced parents will cooperate in a better way for their child. And finally, it will lead to better mental health amongst children of divorce as they now learn optimistic behaviors and to look on the bright side of the situation. However, there are a few limitations to this solution. The first being that each divorce situation is different, meaning not every child will have the same available resources as the other. Additionally, age, gender, and individual characteristics cause the child's response to differ. And finally, relating back to the stimulus article, The Dark Side of Resilience could, quote, make people overly tolerant of adversity, which could cause a child to emotionally shut down or even not state their emotions clearly and reach out for help. This led me to my concluding remarks that children of divorce, just like survivors of any hardship, can come out stronger in the end through the trait of resilience. These were my sources and credits that I used throughout my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Natalie, how did some preliminary information you gathered inform your research?
So before I started researching my topic, I read an autobiography by a guy named Andrew Root, and he discussed his own process through divorce and the hardships he faced. He also discussed what helped him through the divorce process by adapting optimistic behaviors and a better mindset and an open mindset to the situation itself. So this helped kickstart my research as I wanted to relate this back to the trait of resilience that was discussed in the stimulus packet and how I could relate that to children of divorce as a whole.
And how do you use the conclusions or questions of others to advance your own research?
So specifically in the conclusions written in the stimulus packet about the Haitian earthquake survivors, I found that throughout their article, they concluded that the optimistic behaviors of hope and leaning on others really helped the survivors of the earthquake better adapt to the adversity. So I used that conclusion to relate it back to children of divorce being able to use these optimistic behaviors and traits of resilience and how they can use that to adapt to their own adversity faced in divorce of their parents.
Thank you.